Looking for a new vacation destination? How about Libya? Not your first choice, probably, but why not? It has beautiful beaches, fascinating historical sites, and a friendly population. Still not sure? This Muslim nation became synonymous with terrorism as the dangerous and unpredictable Colonel Gaddafi defied the West for decades. Since early times, Libyans have suffered under the domination of a series of foreign powers. When Italy violently colonized Libya in the early 20th century, more than half of all Libyans were killed or forced to flee. This brutal occupation left a bitter attitude against anything Western and Christian. Libya declared independence in 1951, and what little Christian mission activity there was came to an end in 1969, when a military coup thrust Colonel Gaddafi into leadership of the nation. Within 2 years, thousands of expatriates were expelled, and the doors to Libya were firmly shut. Colonel Gaddafi's confrontational foreign policies and his sponsorship of terrorism increasingly led to Libya's isolation from the Western world. Today, about half of the population is under the age of 15, and after decades of dictatorship, few Libyans remember any other form of government. Gaddafi's repressive and authoritarian regime has ground fear and suspicion into the fabric of everyday life. Libya is huge, but the majority of it is desert. Most of its 6 million people live in the north along the Mediterranean, concentrated in the two largest cities, Tripoli and Benghazi. Like other North African countries, the people are ethnically a mix of Arabs and Berbers, but guest workers make up nearly a quarter of the population. It's well known that Libya's oil wealth has been used to promote Islam in many other nations. But less well known is the fact that the Libyan government considers Islamic fundamentalism to be a threat. Sadly, the nation's oil wealth does not benefit the average Libyan, who, impoverished, struggles with daily life. There are few Libyan Christians and no established Libyan churches or house churches. The only churches in Libya are made up of immigrants or guest workers, and their activities are strictly monitored. The few existing Libya Christians are scattered and isolated. Fear and distrust are so much a way of life in Libya that even they avoid meeting each other. No open evangelism is permitted in Libya. In recent decades, the most powerful gospel outreach has been through Christian radio and satellite television broadcasts. The need is great for more Arabic-speaking Christians and tent makers to answer the call to reach Libyans with the gospel. In the early years of the 21st century, Gaddafi surprised the world by seeking rapprochement with the West. International companies and their workers were welcomed back into Libya. As the country opens its doors to the outside world, there's some evidence that Libyans are opening their minds and hearts to the gospel message. Workers report that God is moving in a new way in Libya. Politically and economically, everything is changing. There's a new hope that the country's malaise might be broken, and a new desire to leave behind decades of isolation to learn more about the outside world. One of the most closed countries of the world looks set to transform economically and politically, but there is no guarantee this will bring about a spiritual breakthrough. Only through prayer will lives be changed and the church be established. We invite you to help change Libya for God and for good through prayer.